There's a version of you that nobody can shake. A version that doesn't flinch when someone throws shade your way. A version that doesn't lie awake at night replaying conversations, dissecting what someone said at work, what someone posted online, or what an old friend whispered behind your back. A version of you that moves through the world with a quiet kind of confidence, so grounded that people can feel it before you even say a word. That version isn't a fantasy. It's not reserved for celebrities, billionaires, or people who had perfect childhoods and smooth lives. It's available to you right now, but getting there requires something uncomfortable. You have to unlearn most of what you've been taught about strength. Because the truth is, what society calls strength is often the exact thing draining you. You were taught that strength means speaking up every time, defending yourself, fighting back, proving your point, making sure nobody ever thinks they can walk over you. And because of that, you've probably spent years, maybe even decades, wasting your energy on people and situations that were never worth it. Every time you reacted to someone who didn't deserve your time, you gave them something valuable, your energy. Every time you stayed up late replaying arguments in your head, you handed over your peace of mind to someone who likely forgot the entire interaction by the next morning. Every time you bent over backwards trying to explain yourself to someone who never intended to understand you, you gave away a piece of your power. That ends here. Because what I'm about to walk you through are 7 psychological laws, principles that powerful thinkers have understood for centuries. These aren't about turning you into someone cold or detached. They're about making you grounded, untouchable, in control, not by force, but by mastery. Let's start with the first one. Law 1. Your attention is your most valuable asset. Most people think time is their most valuable resource. It's not. Time without attention is meaningless. You can have hours in your day, but if your focus is scattered, pulled into drama, distractions, and noise, you'll still feel drained, unfulfilled, and stuck. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Where your attention goes, your power follows. Every moment you give someone, your focus, your thoughts, your emotional energy, you are making an investment. And like any investment, there's only one question that matters. What's the return? When you respond to someone who disrespects you, what do you gain? When you engage in drama, what do you actually receive in return? When you spend hours thinking about something negative someone said, what's the payoff? Nothing. Worse than nothing. Because you're not just getting zero return. You're paying a cost. Mentally, emotionally, physically. People who are psychologically strong understand this deeply. They treat their attention like a serious investor. Treats money, they don't throw it everywhere. They don't waste it on things that don't grow. They are selective, ruthlessly selective. And because of that, their attention has weight. When they listen, people feel it. When they speak, it matters. That's influence, that's presence. So here's the shift you need to make, starting today. Before you respond to anything, ask yourself one simple question. Does this deserve my attention? Not, should I be polite? Not, will they think I'm rude? Just, does this deserve my energy? If the answer is no, you move on. No guilt, no explanation, no second guessing. Because powerful people don't respond to everything. They respond to the right things. They have a filter. And if you don't have that filter yet, you need to build one. Because once you do, everything changes. Your energy becomes more stable. Your focus sharpens. Your decisions improve. And slowly, your life starts to move in a different direction. Now let's go deeper. Silence is not weakness. It's power. We live in a world that rewards noise. The loudest voice gets attention. The fastest comeback gets applause. The person who always has something to say is seen as confident, clever, strong. And because of that, silence has been misunderstood. People think silence means you're backing down, that you're weak, that you've lost. But in reality, silence is one of the most powerful tools you have. Think about it. When someone attacks you and you immediately react, what happens? You validate them. You show them their words affected you. You step into their frame, their game, their rules, even. If you win the argument, you've already lost something important. You've shown them exactly how to get under your skin. But when someone comes at you and you don't react, everything changes. Silence disrupts expectation. The human brain expects feedback. It expects reaction. So when someone throws a verbal punch and gets nothing back, it creates confusion. They don't know how to process it. They start questioning themselves. Did that not land? Did they not care? Am I not even worth a response? And that uncertainty, it eats at them. While you've already moved on. That's power. Not loud, aggressive, performative power. Quiet, controlled, unshakable power. And there's another layer to this. Every time you speak, especially when you're emotional, you reveal something. What bothers you, what triggers you, where you're vulnerable. And anyone paying attention can use that information later. Silence gives them nothing. No clues, no leverage, no control. You become unreadable. And people can't manipulate what they can't read. This doesn't mean you never speak. It means you choose when to speak. Deliberately, strategically. When you do speak, it carries weight because you're not constantly talking, you're not reacting, you're responding. There's a difference. The goal isn't to shut yourself off from the world. The goal is to make sure that when you open your mouth, it actually matters. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Law 3. Scarcity creates value. There's a simple psychological truth that most people overlook in their personal lives. We value what is rare. We overlook what is always available. This applies to everything: money, status, opportunities, and it absolutely applies to you. Your time, your presence, your attention. Think about someone you've known who was always there, always replying instantly, always available, always adjusting their schedule to fit yours. At first, it feels nice, comfortable, but over time, that presence becomes expected, then normal, then taken for granted. Not because you're a bad person, but because that's how human psychology works. We don't value what feels unlimited. Now flip the perspective. Think about someone who was selective. Someone who didn't always respond immediately. Someone who showed up fully when they were there, but wasn't always accessible. How did that feel? You paid attention, you respected their time, you valued their presence more, because it wasn't guaranteed. That's not manipulation, that's human nature, and people who understand this don't chase attention, they regulate access. Here's the shift: stop being available to everyone at all times. Stop responding instantly to everything. Stop rearranging your life every time someone asks for your time. Instead, be intentional. When you show up, be fully present, but don't be everywhere. Don't be constant. Let your availability reflect your priorities, because the moment your presence feels earned, it becomes valuable, and people start treating you differently. Not because you demanded respect, but because your behavior naturally created it. Law 4. The power of non-reaction. This is where things start to separate average from elite. Most people react, few people observe, even fewer choose not to react at all. But here's what you need to understand. When someone tries to provoke you, they are attempting to control your emotional state, whether it's a direct insult, a passive-aggressive comment, a subtle jab, or even silence meant to trigger you. It's all the same thing. They are trying to move you. The moment you react the way they expect, angry, defensive, frustrated, they win because they just took control. But when you don't react, you break the system. Human behavior runs on feedback, loops: action, reaction, reinforcement. When someone provokes you and gets a reaction, the loop closes. They learn, this works. They'll do it again, but when they provoke you and get nothing, no reaction, no acknowledgement, no emotional shift, the loop stays open, and that open loop creates psychological tension. They start replaying the moment, questioning themselves, wondering why it didn't work. That tension builds. While you stay completely unaffected. You didn't lose energy. You didn't lose focus. You didn't give them anything. That's real control. Non-reaction isn't weakness, it's discipline. It's the ability to stay centered when someone is trying to pull you off balance. Try this next time. Someone says something meant to get a reaction out of you. Pause. Don't respond immediately. Let the moment pass. And watch what happens. You'll start to feel a shift, a sense of control, a quiet strength. That's not ego, that's stability, and stability is power. Law 5. Know who to cut, and do it cleanly. This one is uncomfortable, but necessary. Not everyone deserves access to you, and holding on to the wrong people doesn't just drain you, it prevents the right people from ever getting your best. There are 3 types of people you need to evaluate honestly. First, adversaries. These aren't people who simply disagree with you. Disagreement is healthy. Adversaries are people who actively work against you. They smile in front of you, but undermine you behind your back. They minimize your wins, celebrate your failures, quietly hope you don't succeed. The instinct here is to confront them, expose them, prove them wrong. But that's a trap, because the moment you engage, you give them relevance. You spend energy on them. You step into a fight that pulls you away from your actual goals. The real move? Remove them, quietly. No drama, no announcements, no explanations. Just stop giving them access and keep building your life, because your progress will always speak louder than your words. Second, chronic critics. These are people who don't build anything, don't create anything, don't take risks. They just sit back and criticize others. And if someone consistently drains you, you don't need a dramatic exit, just create distance. Gradually, consistently, and redirect your energy toward people who uplift you, because your energy is limited, and where you invest it determines the quality of your Law 6. Build a mind that nothing can penetrate. Most people think the reason others can get under their skin is because those people are powerful, aggressive, or manipulative. That's not the real reason. The real reason is internal. It's because the structure inside you isn't stable yet. There's no solid foundation holding your emotional state in place. So when something external happens, a comment, a look, a tone of voice, it shakes you. Not because it's strong, but because you're still reactive. What you need to build is something called emotional sovereignty. This is the point where your internal state is no longer controlled by external inputs. It doesn't mean you stop feeling. It doesn't mean you become cold or detached. It means you decide what affects you, not them, not circumstances. Most people don't live like this. They're constantly reacting. Someone criticizes them, they spiral. Someone ignores them, they feel insecure. Someone challenges them, they either explode or shut down. Their emotions are controlled by whatever is happening around them, which means anyone who understands this can control them. So, the first step is awareness. You need to identify your triggers. Be honest. What makes you defensive? What makes you feel the need to explain yourself? What kind of comments irritate you instantly? What situations make you feel small, insecure, or angry? Those are your weak points, and whether people realize it or not, they will press on those points every single time. The angry person is predictable. The insecure person is easy to manipulate. The person who always needs to be right is easy to control, because you don't need force to control someone, you just need to trigger them. So know your triggers. Study them. Observe your reactions without judging them. That's how you start taking control back. The second step is desensitization. This is where real change happens. You stop avoiding the things that trigger you, and you start facing them with awareness. Someone questions you. Instead of reacting, you stay calm. You observe. You don't rush to defend. Someone tries to embarrass you. You don't shrink. You stay grounded. You breathe. You let it pass. At first, this feels unnatural, even uncomfortable. But over time, something shifts. Those same triggers start losing their power. The things that used to get a reaction out of you don't anymore. And when that happens, something very important changes. People stop being able to control you. They try the same tactics, and nothing happens. No reaction, no emotional shift, no engagement. And eventually, they stop trying, because manipulation only works when it gets a response. Now here's where it gets interesting. When someone realizes they can't move you anymore, they either respect you or they leave you alone. Both outcomes are wins. This is what it means to be untouchable, not physically, not socially, but mentally, emotionally, stable, grounded, unshaken. Now let's go to the final principle. Law 7. The art of winning without moving. This is the one that goes against everything you've been taught, because we live in a culture that worships action. Do more, respond faster, defend yourself, stay active, always be doing something. But here's the truth. Most of that activity is wasted. Most of the things you react to don't matter. Most of the battles you fight aren't worth it. And all that constant reaction, it drains you. The highest level of control is not reacting to everything. It's choosing when not to act at all. This is strategic inaction, and it's one of the most powerful skills you can develop. It's knowing which situations require your energy, and which ones will resolve themselves if you simply step back. Let's take an example. Someone spreads rumors about you. The instinct? Defend yourself. Explain your side. Try to control the narrative. But what happens when you do that? You give the rumor attention. You show that it affects you. You invest energy into something you don't control. Now try the opposite. Do nothing. Stay consistent. Keep showing up. Keep doing your work. Let your actions speak over time. Because truth doesn't need constant defense. It reveals itself. And people who matter, they'll see it. Another example. Someone is trying to compete with you, watching your moves, copying you, positioning themselves as your rival. The instinct? Engage. Stay ahead. Outperform them directly. But that creates a race. And the moment you're in a race, you're no longer fully in control, because now your pace depends on them. Instead, ignore it completely. Focus on your path, your growth, your standard, because when you're not competing, there is no competition. Strategic inaction is not laziness. It's discipline. It's choosing not to waste your energy, so that when you do act, it matters. And here's what happens when you live like this. Your presence changes. You stop trying to prove yourself. You stop chasing validation. You stop reacting to noise. And people feel that. There's a quiet gravity to it. You don't need to convince anyone of your value. You just live it. You don't chase people. They come to you. You don't argue. You observe. You don't react. You decide. And slowly, you become someone who is very hard to shake, very hard to read, very hard to control. These 7 laws are not separate. They all connect. Protect your attention. Use silence as a tool. Make your presence valuable. Master non-reaction. Choose who has access to you. Build emotional stability and learn when not to act. This doesn't happen overnight. It's built in moments. Small choices. Daily decisions. The next time someone tries to provoke you, don't react. The next time someone demands your energy, pause. Ask if they deserve it. The next time you feel the urge to prove yourself, redirect that energy into something that actually matters, because the version of you that is calm, focused, untouchable is not something you become someday. It's something you build right now, choice by choice, moment by moment. Protect your energy, guard your attention, and become someone the world cannot easily